The year was 2037. The goal had finally been achieved. The United States had successfully landed a confirmed bachelor on Mars so that the nearest red planet could be looted mercilessly out of its native resources. Mesmoor, the bearded bachelor from Iowa, snuck down the ramp of the rocket with a jar of pickly pig's feet in his Cosmo suit pocket, unbeknownst to the crew. As he cavorted near the ruddy rocks on his left, Mez hurled the jar with its remaining contents onto the landscape, smashing it artlessly. Ignorance is 9/10 of the law, not possession. Possession is no excuse. To be possessed of ignorance is something to be neither proud of nor ashamed of to any appreciable degree. Do I make myself clear? If you had a choice between being rich and beautiful, or just being rich, or just being beautiful, or being neither rich nor beautiful, but being stricken with cancer instead, then which would you choose? Be honest now. Crack scientists at some fool ivy-covered establishment or other have recently isolated the individual gene inside the human system that's responsible for excessive complaining on the part of whiny and non-whiny people alike. It seems that the little bugger creeps up on other genes when they're not looking, then proceeds to corner them for hours, complaining about personal ills and other problems. In case of a sincere nuclear catastrophe, not that there are any insincere ones, even circus clowns and court jesters have a plan for perpetuating their kind. Many of them will filter into a bomb shelter somewhere in Nevada, and we've all seen how many clowns can fit inside a funny car. But only one will get to fly with the president's entourage as a distinguished guest of the survivalist military infrastructure. We're sorry, Mrs. Cat Buckler, but our hands are tied. A brain cell must be gone for over 24 hours. Then, and only then, can it be considered missing. Now, I realize that your husband doesn't have that many brain cells, but still, Mrs. Cat Buckler, there's nothing we can do. Perhaps one of his remaining brain cells just wandered away. You know, maybe it just slipped out of his ear while he was napping. Things like this actually do happen more often than you might think. Can you describe the brain cell for us, Mrs. Cat Buckler? Wait a minute. Let me grab a pencil. It was a dull gray color. Were there any distinguishing marks on it? It must have been in fairly decent condition, at least. Inside of his head, it couldn't have been used very often. I know, Mrs. Cat Buckler. In another 6 hours or so, it'll be a full 24. We'll get a team of bloodhounds on the trail of it immediately then. Do you think it might have headed off to your mother's home? All right, that's a foolish question. Let's try to put our heads together. I might be able to think more clearly if I abuse my opium pile.